Ladies and gentlemen, the show we've all been waiting for. Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present REP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts, Kim Purvis and Allison Robinson. Live every Thursday night on Spreaker, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Be sure to check out their Facebook page, REP Paranormal Busters.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Everyone, welcome to another night of REP Paranormal and Friends. We have a special guest. We have Linn tonight, and we're going to be talking about My Haunted Adventures. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's kind of dive into some background on yourself. I was kind of looking through and researching, and it looked like you started off kind of with like Spirited Paranormal Group that was founded in 2005. Now you're kind of working on this My Haunted Adventures. Is that correct?
Yes, that is. Yeah, Spirited Paranormal Group is a company I run on the side, and we actually go out and help people if they have a real haunted house. I usually hire a psychic medium to come along with me. And if they're having problems in their home, we do a paranormal investigation. The psychic can clear the house and send the spirit into the light. That's sort of something I'm doing on the side. I do have a regular job.
Okay. Yeah, I get that 100%. Yeah, Kim and I just kind of do investigations on the side as well. Now, you were originally from California. Now, did you do any of this in California before you moved to New Hampshire area?
Yeah, I'll give you a real quick history on my background.
Sure.
The first ghost book that I ever got was Haunted Houses USA. That was back in 1989, and that was written by Dolores Riccio out of Rhode Island and her friend Joan Bingham out of Pennsylvania. So you're talking over 30 years ago I was interested in the paranormal field, and that was long before any of these paranormal television shows became the fad of the day. And I always had a deep passion for history and historical places. And out in California, we're kind of like the newer part of the country. So when I eventually did head towards New England, it was unbelievable, the history that I found over here, how, this is where the country started. And then when I went to a place and I found out that it was haunted, I thought it was so cool that a piece of history of somebody who passed away before I was born could actually communicate with me or even touch me. And I just thought that was so cool.
It is. Now, before moving to the New England area, now, did you have any experiences when you were a child or anything like so many people have had?
I have psychic medium friends in the New England area, and they tell me that I'm not psychic or medium, but I'm a gifted sensitive, so I tend to draw out spirits. So, there are some haunted places I go to sometimes where nothing happens, but because I'm somewhat a gifted sensitive, I draw them out. Well, to give you a real quick story, when I was a kid growing up in California, my parents got divorced when I was only 5 years old, and my older brother was 7. And we had a big backyard in California, and there was a little area where I played with my trucks. So one day my mother was looking for me, and she's like, you can't come out here. Kids get kidnapped in California, things happen. And I told I said, Mommy, I wasn't. There was a beautiful woman in a flowing white gown that was floating in the corner, beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes, and she was watching over me. Well, my mother was Catholic at the time and very religious, and probably got a little bit upset from this. But then later on, when things sort of calmed down, she goes, I'm going to show you a photo album of people that are connected to you that passed away before you were born. If you see that lady in there, point her out. So after a few pages flipping through, I pointed her out, and it was my mother's aunt, which would be my great aunt. She looks similar to Marilyn Monroe, and she got hit and killed by a drunk driver when she was in her 20s.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, so speed it up a few years. Later on in life, when I'm 19 years old, I'm driving on the highway. A drunk driver takes me out, and my car goes into a bunch of trees and takes him out, and I'm unconscious. And this same aunt, or for me, great aunt, comes through my windshield, touches me on the shoulders, and says to me, Mark, you have many more great things to do in your life. Now is not your time to go yet. You need to wake up. And when I woke up, I was in the hospital, and there was a mother in a caravan with kids behind me that called 911, so the drunk driver could not get away. And she said, I have no idea how you survived that accident. So I've talked to psychic medium friends, and they said maybe this great aunt is not a guardian angel, but maybe she's sort of like a spirit guide. And ever since then, I've been sort of like a sensitive and tuned with the spirit world. And again, I tend to draw them out the locations I go to.
Oh, very nice. Yep. Yeah. No, wow. That's insane. With the accident too, I can kind of relate to that. I'm trying to think, just a few years ago. It was actually just, let's see, 3 months after my uncle had passed. And I was in a car accident. But the thing is that before I had my accident, like I was driving down the road, I had the music going, and the song Spirit in the Sky was playing. And that's the song we played at his funeral. Shortly while that song was playing is when a grain truck pulled out in front of me, and I T-boned them, like going like 70 some miles an hour. And I literally just was bruised up. Like they said I was very lucky to be alive, but I kind of think he was looking over me at that time. So yeah, I can totally relate
I'd say
with
you
that.
were lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, also too, another thing too is my mother's side of the family, my grandparents, we called them Pop and Grammy. They were almost like a second set of parents for me when my father wasn't there. And in recent years, my grandmother, Grammy, she passed away, and I came home one time, and I thought somebody was home, like my wife and kids, but nobody was home. And I actually could hear my grandmother say, Mark, it's me, Grammy. And I didn't know what had happened. I was like, Grammy, is that you? And then it was gone. And then maybe an hour or two later, my mother called me and said, my mother, your grandmother, Grammy, has passed away.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's insane. That is, yeah. I haven't had
for me,
like that.
I don't have a fear of it. For me, it's a rush.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I embrace it. I've never had like bad experiences, so I'm used to it by now.
Yeah. No, I haven't had quite any bad experiences either. So, but yeah. So let's move on here. Trying to find a pen that works, so that way I don't ask the same questions over and over again. I have a whole pile of pens here, but they don't want to work for me tonight. Okay, so
yeah, the only
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the only bad experience I ever had though was at a place called Medfield State Hospital in Medfield, Massachusetts.
I've heard of that.
And a group of my friends, this is like in 2013, we went there 3 times, and the first 2 times we felt little to nothing, and then the third time they have a beautiful campus, and some of the buildings you can go to, some of them, and I saw a beautiful Victorian house, and I said to my friends, hey, something's drawing me to this house, let's go check it out. Well, when I went, I heard something like go down the stairs, like somebody running, and I said to my friends, did you just see that? I swore I thought I saw the dust kick up. Like somebody was running down the stairs, and they're like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. So I went to grab the handle of the door, which I didn't know, but at the time was locked. I looked at my friend, and she said my face changed, and a spirit went right through my body. And I'm a big guy. I went down to my knees, and she slapped my hand off the doorknob. And for like a couple weeks, I was real warm when that happened. Felt like I was going to get sick to my stomach. And then after a couple weeks, it finally went away. But then later on at work, I actually went down with a slip disc in my back. So I don't know if whatever spirit went through me changed my insides to have that happen. And some of my psychic medium friends have said maybe it wasn't a bad spirit. Maybe you just surprised it, caught off guard, and went right through you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, oh, well, this pen doesn't work either. Kim keeps sending me all these pens and they don't work. They don't like me tonight. But, okay, so let's go back. Now, how many people are in your group when you go out and do this on the side? Like, do you have
I have as many as up to 7 people, and sometimes if they can't always go out, sometimes I work with 5 and as little as 3.
Okay, very nice.
But the biggest part of the group at the most would be about 7.
Okay, yeah, we used to have about that big. Now we're kind of down to 4, but yeah, we had a large group at the very beginning. But let's see here. So now this My Haunted Adventures, you kind of came about in like 2019, correct?
Yeah, what I did is I wanted to do a low budget like online show, and I came up with the title My Haunted Adventures. And it'd be me as the host and paranormal investigator. I'd have a special guest psychic medium and a friend that was like a production assistant coming along. And then I had a television network out of Canada contact me saying, we're interested in some of the stuff that you have online. We wouldn't mind either making you part of a paranormal documentary or have your own paranormal show. And I actually have 5 television networks looking at me right now. 2 are in England, 2 are in America, and the one in Canada.
Goodness.
And I actually last year copyrighted and trademarked that name with a lawyer, My Haunted Adventures, so only I can make money off that name. So whether this thing with the television thing works out, or even if it doesn't, I'm going to eventually do more professional production and put it on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, very nice. Okay, yeah, I was going to ask, like, when do you meet up with these different networks? Like, do you have to travel there? Are they gonna
Yeah, what I'm going to do is they told me there's going to be interviews plus a screen test, and I have a professional demo that was shot that I'm going to release in the next couple of weeks in March. You guys, I'll eventually pass it on to you so you can see it.
Awesome.
But it was a professional demo promo video of 5 to 10 minutes that a production crew shot of me and my psychic medium. And I'm going to bring that along to the networks to sort of promote me and my idea of the show.
Very nice. Okay, so then basically it's going to be you and then maybe a psychic medium. Is that do you think that's what will set you apart from these other shows?
Yeah, and then if I have my own television show, then there'd be a cameraman / production assistant. Well, the thing I was thinking about the other day is when you think of all these shows, some of them that are big, like in the last 10 to 15 years, you know what I noticed? A lot of these people were not paranormal investigators until they got these shows. Now, I'm not going to name them, but a very famous one, the 3 original guys were independent filmmakers. Another one that was famous, the 2 founders, they were both plumbers. I mean, other people have been like actors, actresses, models, writers, producers, researchers. None of these people, for the most part, are paranormal investigators until somehow they get these shows. Then they become paranormal investigators.
Yeah, that's true.
So at least with me, I have a little bit of experience.
Yes, yeah. So you have a little bit of experience. That's true. Yep. Let's see here. Trying to see. I didn't turn on the light, so I gotta go on to the next page here. Okay, so what gave you this idea then to come up with a show?
My degree, I have a bachelor degree in radio and television broadcasting because of the voice. I worked in radio 10 years.
Okay.
And being from California, this is something I've always wanted to do, get into television. And I just want to do, of course the show would be edited, but I want a raw paranormal show that we're only going to show you real stuff. I've seen some of these shows over the years where like half of what they show you is real and half of it is Hollywoodized and for dramatic purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give people a raw paranormal show that, if we don't find anything on location, then, we don't find anything. If we do, then we're going to show you the evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree with that 100%. That was one thing I was going to ask because, yeah, a lot of them, they kind of over-exaggerate things a little bit just so they can get the ratings. So,
well, they even had a show, and I'm not going to name names, but they had a show a few years ago that supposedly they had real eyewitnesses, and later on it came out in the news that these eyewitnesses were actually paid professional actors, and they said like the executive producer should have known better because you might not know as the producer everything that's going on in your set, but if you claim them to be like 100% genuine like witnesses, they better not be like paid actors like they found out they were, and then like a year or two later that show got canceled.
Yeah, that's true. That'll hurt you when people find that out. I mean, everybody's gonna find that stuff out over now and then. What are you doing, Kim?
Trying to get a pin door.
Oh, I saw her with a lighter and a pin, and I didn't know what she was trying to do. I thought she was trying to light her pin on fire.
It's probably trying to warm up the ink soul, right?
Yeah, that's what she's trying to do. Yeah. It's
hard to find a good pen nowadays.
I know. They just run out so fast, Like, we have questions coming in through chat, so she's trying to write down the questions.
So we don't miss any.
So when it's that time for the show, I'll ask those questions that are in chat, because we got a lot of them coming in, so. Let's see here. Okay, so for your show, do you have any like actual like locations that you want to premiere on your show?
I would like to go to locations that aren't so known, because I notice with some of these shows, they keep going to like the same locations. So I would like to do like maybe half the locations, be it somewhere that the general public could go to. Locations maybe be private residences, but go to different locations that we haven't seen, because some of these shows in the last few years, they keep repeating some of the same locations, and it's like, let's see something new. There are other haunted places that we can go to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's some of them that, after, doing this podcast, we found out so many new places, but there's so many places out there that, haven't even been touched yet that could possibly be, paranormal. You just don't know until you try it. But I mean, there's so many places out there that are just unknown, and it'd be nice to see some of those places, and see.
Yeah, I mean, even in that book I told you about, Haunted Houses USA, that book has to have at least 50 to 100 locations, and a lot of them are places that the public can go to, like museums.
Very nice.
And it's like, I've seen a few on the shows over the year, but it's like, let's do something new that people haven't seen before.
Right. I agree 100%. New places, new locations, see what happens. Give it to them raw, because, I know a lot of people want to watch it for like, the oohs and the ahs and things like that. But there's the other ones of us that are actually, out doing these things, and could be out at a location for 12, 16, whatever hours and not get one thing. But, on TV, they're getting all these things and supposedly demonic possessions and whatever and whatnot. When in reality, that doesn't always happen. And so it would be nice to have a show that actually shows what really goes on in an actual investigation.
Right, and people got to remember out there, you're not always going to get something every place you go. I mean, for instance, with Medfield State Hospital, it took 3 times before finally something happened to us. The first 2 times there was nothing, so we can't predict when a haunting's going to occur.
Right.
I wish we could. We haven't gotten to that point yet. So, and I know there's skeptics out there. Like if you go to like a haunted place and they'll say, "Oh, see, you didn't get anything. It must not be haunted." Right. No, yeah, it is probably haunted, but you're not going to get it all the time.
Right, and some of these locations, if they haven't been investigated a lot, which Kim and I have ran into. Excuse me, I have a
sneeze again.
Sneeze. It never fails every show. Okay. But anyways, we're doing this location that hasn't really been investigated a whole lot. But since we've been going back, we've noticed
that they're opening
up to us, and we're starting to get more answers. Because, at first they didn't know how to react or respond to us because they didn't know how to use the equipment. They didn't know what was going on. But now that we've been there a couple times and we're going back for a third time, we're hoping to get more. But, this last time we were there, they started to open up and be more interactive. And we were
actually getting names
We were actually getting names and everything. So, it just takes time. You have to go back to a location multiple times to get any kind of answers or responses.
Yeah, there's some locations I've actually been to over the past 10 years, and I recently just started to get good evidence maybe in the last 3 or 4 years. So, it takes a while. But also, too, I want to let the listeners know out there as well, if you are becoming a new paranormal investigator, you can test out your equipment anywhere. Like, let's say you can't afford to go to a haunted place to pay to get in to investigate. You can even go to a local graveyard or cemetery, and I've been to ones that are not haunted, and I've still had spirits come through of people who passed away, maybe in a car accident from just 5-10 years ago. So, they pass through anywhere. It's like how I was saying to people, you could buy a piece of land this year, build a brand new house in 2021, but if there's something with that land, the history of it, if there's, your house could be haunted. You don't know.
Exactly. 100%. That is totally 100%. A lot of times, I think a lot of these hauntings, some of them do come from the land, because of all the things that have happened to it in the past, and then you build on it and it stirs things up. Or some of these places that are older buildings and people are going in and starting to renovate them kind of stir things up as well. So.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not always the house. It can be the land. It can be the person, or it can be an object that's haunted.
A lot of times, I tell new investigators, go home and paint your wall and sit there and watch it and learn patience, because that's what ghost hunting is. You got to learn patience.
It is. It is about patience. That's for sure.
Because if you don't have patience, you're not going to be a ghost hunter.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, and I would just also say, too, to any new paranormal investigators out there, wherever you go to, whether it's an abandoned house, a museum that's a house, private residence, or a cemetery or graveyard, please show respect to the property that you're investigating, because I've seen dinglings out there stealing stuff from a cemetery, and I'm just, I'm like, that's not a paranormal investigator. A paranormal investigator, we come in and investigate, and we leave it how we came in. We don't litter, and we don't steal anything.
Absolutely, 100%, because
We've
that
had
has
several
happened
places here
at Edinburgh Manor in Scotch Grove, Iowa. There's been people that have gone in to like investigate or whatever they were doing, put a hole in the wall. There's a very old cemetery across the street that you can go to. Half of the gravestones are knocked down from people just going in there and thinking they're cool and going to knock these over. It's just ridiculous, and it's disrespectful.
And they've stolen stuff from
They've stolen things from these places. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to say to people, how would you like it if that was your family member buried there? I don't think you would like it that much, people stealing stuff or knocking over their stones. So it's like, you come into these places, you got to show respect. Yeah, because we have some historical cemeteries around here too, and a few of them are still in good shape, but we have like some little small ones, and like the stones are knocked over. I'm like, that just stinks. It ruins it for the rest of us. And also too, even with historical haunted houses, some that are museums. I know one in Middleborough, Massachusetts, called the Oliver House, and it's a regular museum during the day, but you can make a reservation to do either a 1, 2, or 3 hour paranormal investigation. You pay for that, but that helps keep the museum going. And if it wasn't for them doing that, that would have been knocked down like 5 years ago. So they have some historical haunted houses, they have some really creative ways to keep their museum going, to be able to investigate. We don't want to ruin it for the rest of us. So it's like when you do that and you have to pay for it, show respect to that building and the spirits that are there. Because I mean, if people start to damage things like that, they might close up one day and we can't investigate that place anymore.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. That is true. Now, okay, so for your show, going back to that, how long do you plan to stay at a location?
I would probably say I would like to stay if I possibly could, like up to a week. But if not a week, at least maybe 3 or 4 days. That way you can really like soak in the atmosphere. Because I mean, a few years ago I went to a boarding house and I ended up staying for 2 nights and 3 days because if you stay, even though it's expensive, you stay just the one night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the time you check in, it's almost time to check out. So I mean, I would like to be there for, if not a week, at least 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's good. So that way you have time to try to, show your presence and try to at least get some kind of, maybe get some data or evidence while you're there. I would love to be able to do that. We have not stayed at a location that long yet, but Malvern will be our first 2-nighter here coming up. But we always get something there. It's usually something different. But hopefully in the 2 nights that we're there, we'll probably kick up some pretty good stuff. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to let people know out there too is, as paranormal investigators, if we get something in a picture or photograph or video or EVP or audio recording to advance the paranormal field, that's great. But in some of these places that we stay overnight, sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and there's something in your room tapping on the wall. And just to have that experience is all part of it. So we're not always going to capture everything,
right?
But you're going to get that experience, and that's what it's all about.
Malvern.
Yep. Yeah, Malvern.
They always pull my covers off me.
If you ever get to Iowa, you need to go to Malvern Manor. Just an FYI, that place will not disappoint.
They were always pulling my covers off.
Yeah, they pulled Kim's covers off. They did it to me one time. We had a doll fly off a dresser at us. So, yeah.
Always something going on.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go there. That sounds pretty good.
It is actually a pretty good place to go. It is. I mean, we've got shadow figures.
There's something going on every time different. It's something different every time
every time we go there. And in a different spot of the building, too. It's not always in the same spot, which is, nice.
That's what I like.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Now, why is it with that place it's so active? Like, what's a brief history of it? Did a lot of people die in that building?
It used to be an old folks' home, mental.
And then it was like a mental type, and it was a hotel at one point.
At one point, too.
I know there was the, oh gosh, what was he? Gosh, I've been there so many times now I can't remember his name.
The captain?
The captain. Yes.
He
was not a very friendly person. And I know that there was a fight or something that happened there because there's actually still blood on the walls upstairs. That they've had tested.
It has been tested.
It has been tested. It's
actually blood.
And it's actually blood from somebody who stayed there.
Because part of the building, when it was a nursing home, the mental part was down on the bottom floor. And then the residents that could get around by themselves were fine, were upstairs.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and then, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. They have a couple people there. They have one called Hank who supposedly doesn't like women. But when I go in his room and try on his clothes, he doesn't have an issue with it. But other people do have an issue. There's Gracie who loves men and is very inappropriate with them. And you can tell when she's in a room because you'll get a really strong urine smell, which is really weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you could smell her perfume or something.
Oh,
nice.
No. It's much worse than that. And then you have Susie, who's upstairs, who's an older woman, but has the mentality of a child, and she loves to color. And Kim has had a lot of interaction with her and coloring. So you get kind of different worlds. And then you have the shadow man downstairs who is not very friendly at all. But so yeah, you definitely got to check that place out. That is a place you need to get to. So Just put a little thing in your head because you will not be disappointed with that place at all.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with Iowa because my grandfather on my father's side of the family, he was from Council Bluffs, Iowa,
Oh, okay,
but
yeah.
he ended up in Arizona, then my father in California, then I was born. But I mean, I know like 30 of the states, but I don't know Iowa, so I'll have to go out there, check it out.
There's a lot of places in here in Iowa that are really good to go to. So a lot. So
Yeah, the famous one, the Axe House.
the Villisca. Yep, we've been there,
Yeah.
what, 3 or 4 times? Mm-hmm.
At least 4 times.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive. We don't get to, since our group's gotten smaller, we don't get to go very often.
Yeah, and it's a small area, so you don't want to take a large group there because it contaminates your evidence. So
I think
that's
most we've had in there is 2 at a time is the best. We always sit in they have a barn where we can you set up everything and then go into the house. It's better with just 2 people at a time.
Yeah.
Because it's so small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say too, is I actually prefer a smaller paranormal team, even if it's just 3 people or less, because I usually get more evidence compared to if I'm with a larger group. You don't always get the evidence, or sometimes you might, but you don't pay attention as much. So I like it when it's, for me, like a group of 3 people, I tend to get more evidence. It's more activity that goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. It is. I've noticed that too. And different people, because sometimes I think it depends on your energy too. Some people kind of block out that, so they don't, when you're around them, you don't get quite as much interaction with the spirits. But if you're more open, I've noticed that we get quite a bit more interaction with the spirits.
I know when me and you go together, we get more than if we separate.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so do you have a projected date that you want your show to air?
Well, I have to go through the interviews and the screen tests first, but it possibly could be for the 2021-2022 television season. And at the latest, it could be the next couple years between 2021 to 2023. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen pretty soon.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, and the one thing I would like to mention off to the side, too, is I'm organizing a paranormal convention up here in New Hampshire. It's going to be at the Wilton Town Hall Theater in Wilton, New Hampshire, and I personally know the owner, and he had a really tough year last year because of COVID-19, and I want to do a paranormal convention. He's in a haunted movie theater, but it has a big auditorium with like a stage, and it's perfect for a paranormal convention. So I'm putting something together for this year to try to help support local business.
Awesome. You'll have to pass that information along when you have it. We can put it on our social media and stuff to help you kind of promote it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. All right, let's see here. We do have some questions here. Kim's been writing a notebook full here from our listeners. So
he already answered that
one. Okay. So let's see here. First question is, what do you fear the most of the paranormal?
Demons.
Yeah.
I've never run into a demon yet, but I don't think I would want to.
I wouldn't want to either, but I don't know if I ever will in my lifetime. They're pretty far. I think they're pretty few and far between.
Yeah, they're rare.
Mm-hmm. I think mostly, when you go to an investigation, you may think that the spirit you're dealing with could be demonic or something, but I think it's actually somebody who is just a grumpy old person in their real life. Like, not a very friendly person.
Staying grumpy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, too, I was at a haunted place one time, and there was a young girl that had died at 17 in the 1890s, and I actually got stomach pain a little bit, and I found out through my psychic medium that she had died of stomach cancer. And she wasn't a malevolent or evil spirit, but she was just confused and lost looking for her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they can be confused and lost and like upset, but they're not evil.
Right.
They're just trying to figure out what they're still doing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Okay, let's see here. Next question is, what's your favorite piece of gear you like to use besides yourself?
I would say two different pieces of gear. One is the SB7 Spirit Box invented by Gary Galka. I get
Mm-hmm.
great results on that. And the
Mm-hmm.
other one is a new one I just got recently from the Ghost Shop online, the S-Box Spirit Box.
Oh, I
I
have
do
that.
have bigger units. I do have bigger units like the Portal, and I also have like a Thomas Spirit Box that looks like a big radio. I have probably about 11 to 15 pieces of paranormal equipment,
Mm-hmm.
but those two Spirit Boxes typically give me the best results, even though they're a little, small little units. They work out pretty well.
Very nice, very nice. Now that portal is something that I wish we had one of those. How do you like that? Like, do you get a lot of results with that?
Yeah, I do. That's the one invented by Steve Huff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can take a basic spirit box and plug it into there, and it magnifies it.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Conjuring House last October, and it helped me amplify the spirit voices that were coming through.
Very nice. I'll have to. We need to look into that. I'd like one of
I've
those.
been looking into it.
Or I'd like those EMF pumps to help kind of raise the energy in
I've
a
been
place.
looking into them, but it takes some money.
I know.
Right now we're short on cash.
Yeah. All right.
Well, see, that's the thing I was going to say is the pieces of paranormal equipment I have is taken me like over 10 years to get them all because, like what you guys are saying, it adds up and it is expensive.
Oh yeah, Kim's got 3. I mean, she has huge totes, like huge, 3 huge
Construction
totes.
workers.
Yeah, construction like worker boxes full of stuff. But we've kind of minimized down so we don't take as much with us. We take the ones that we know that we get a lot of interaction with us most of the time.
And a lot of the stuff is stuff I've picked up, like toys, for certain places.
Right.
And
A
stuff
lot of
like
trigger
that.
objects and things like that.
Well, see, that's the other thing I was going to mention. I want to, in the next few years, open up my own haunted museum because I do have haunted objects and artifacts, but I do have haunted dolls that I'll bring to a location where I know there's children's spirits there, and it tends to draw them out because they want to play with the doll or move it or push it over. So that does help trigger objects.
Trigger objects, I think, yeah, they do help a lot. One thing I think next weekend, Kim and I are going out to a location, and we're going to bring some military stuff, and she's going to bring her military. Would you have a Navy uniform?
I got a Navy uniform, an Army uniform, some Army helmets and stuff like that. And we're going to use some pictures with you because this place had USO dances there. So we're going to see if we can get something to react with the uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting if you pick up like music or like dancing or people talking, like something residual.
Yep.
Well, I went to a place recently that it was a haunted inn, and what had happened back in the 19th century is there was a woman that was married to a minister. She was only in her 20s, and she was having an affair with his best friend, and he found out what place they were staying at, so he went there with a gun, and he ended up shooting, killing, and murdering both of them. And I fired a cap gun in that place, and it drew a reaction. I could hear a girl or a woman say, "Don't do that."
Oh wow, that's crazy! Oh my god!
Yeah, with a cap gun, they might not know, so it looks similar to like a real gun. So
right, yeah.
It triggered her saying that.
Yeah, wow, yeah. Those are the best kinds of data or evidence that you can collect, I think.
I like my trigger objects.
The trigger objects do seem to work pretty well. So, we like to use those on almost any investigation. Let's see here. Next question is, what are your views on shamans and what they bring to an investigation?
I've never used a shaman, so I would say no comment. I've only ever used like either psychic mediums, and once in a while the only other thing I've used is actually sometimes real witches, but I've never used like a shaman or like a medicine man or something. So I'd say at this point no comment until I work with one.
Yeah, same. Right. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Next one is, what are your views on the Ouija boards, and would you use one on an investigation?
No, I would not, because a few years ago I actually got an antique Ouija board. It was a real Ouija board used in a Hollywood movie like in the 40s or 50s.
Hmm.
And when you would feel it, when you would touch it, almost all the time it was cool or like ice cold. And then I ended up selling it to a haunted store in Salem, Massachusetts, because I just didn't want that in my house. It was like bad mojo. So I would say, really, if you can, don't use a Ouija board.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
would not use one after that experience.
Right. Yeah. Kim's kind of had that same. She's had an experience with it. She won't use one either. So she did hers in a high school, in like the dark room or something.
In the dark room where you develop pictures.
Nice.
The teacher was even in there with us.
Yeah. Crazy.
And
Nice.
she left scared. And she's the one showing us how to use it.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
hey, when I come to think about it, that would really freak me out if nobody was touching the planchette and then it went right off the board. I want
Oh.
to see that.
Oh, yeah. I know. I would probably scream. Not gonna lie, I'd probably scream. I don't know. I haven't used one since I was like 6 or 7 years old. So I was pretty young when we used one at my cousin's house. So I haven't
Yeah,
tried it since.
that's amazing. It was a board game too. When you think about it, you could get it in like a toy store and children could play with it growing up.
You
I
still
know.
can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just insane. I don't know how many other people like this. Kind of reminds me of like, it's kind of along the same lines of a Ouija board, but I don't know who else, if anybody else has heard of this one, where you actually use like, you have a person that holds on to 3 like pencils. You have 2 going vertical, 1 horizontal, and then another person is across from you and they do the same thing, and you connect them, and then you ask like questions, and you're like, no, you go inward for no and outward for yes. And it kind of works the same way. Well, I used to do that when I was younger, though.
That's like dowsing rods.
Yeah, it's kind of like dowsing rods. Yeah.
Hey, you know the other one I saw recently too is they had a film called The Haunting of Sharon Tate, and in the movie they were playing an actual game that still exists, like from the 1960s, 1970s, I think it's called like Kabbalah or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But it's almost like it's not the same as a Ouija board, but you ask it similar questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to try to find one of those one day and see if it works.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I haven't watched that yet. We talked to David Oman about Sharon Tate. He was on not too long ago, but I have not seen that movie yet, so I'll have to check that out. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have the actress Lydia Hurst, the one that plays Abigail Folger. I'm actually going to have her on my podcast on SoundCloud.
Oh, wow, awesome.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you'll have to send us the details so we can check that out. That'll be awesome. Let's see here. Okay, we have another question popping in here. Do you prefer hospitals or insane asylums?
Insane asylums, you get better results, more activity.
We have not been to a hospital yet, so that's something I need to do.
You know what I can't believe too is in this area, like in Massachusetts,
Mm-hmm.
some of the mental institutions, insane asylums, a lot of the times they'll get ripped down, they'll build something else.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a few in the state of Massachusetts that they've actually turned them into condominiums or apartments.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Like I hunt this stuff, but I don't think I'd want to live in a place with that kind of activity.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. But I would like to go to a hospital because, I would actually like to try to stay overnight in the morgue part.
You could stay in the morgue.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I just
me
find
trying
that interesting. How they, you see one of them either lying on the table or they get shut into one of the little compartments,
That's just like the spirits wanted me in that coffin the other time. We went to
yeah,
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Somebody hauled in a coffin, a huge coffin, an actual coffin, up to the 3rd floor?
Second floor.
Second floor, whatever. And kept coming up on our spirit box that they wanted Kim to get in the coffin. Like it kept saying, Kim, coffin.
I kept saying nope.
And they would laugh, and they just wanted her in that coffin so bad.
Yeah, that's freaky hearing a voice. Get in there. Get in the coffin. Do it.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when they say your name.
Especially, yeah, when they say your name. Yeah, you're like, oh.
Can you imagine if you said to them, "Hey, I don't want you," and you could hear a voice go, "Get out."
Yeah. I know. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Gotta ask his famous question too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The running question.
We have to ask the running question. Okay, so Darren, he listens to every podcast. He has a running question. He keeps pull on this. What is the one thing in the world that you would not want to be haunted?
Probably my car, because maybe
That's
the brakes wouldn't work. You'd crash and you'd die.
That's what I picked. That's what I picked. I think toilet is the number one.
I'm pretty sure the toilet part's still
What
number
did we
one.
have last time that was a new one? We had Eve on last time. She said something. I can't remember what she said. Something totally different that we hadn't heard before, but
I don't remember what she said. I can't.
nobody
I usually write them down, but
I know we should write them down because we get some interesting answers. I have to tell everybody this one.
Yeah, because that would freak me out to lose control of your car and either get really hurt really bad or get killed because it's haunted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I would not like that either. I would no. I've been in too many accidents. I don't need help by a spirit to get into another one, okay? Like I don't need a haunted car. But one of the ones that I always talk about because I get a chuckle out is we had Michelle Belanger on. She's been on Portals to Hell and the one with
Paranormal State.
Paranormal State. She said a butt plug.
Oh, nice. I try to keep it G or PG so kids are listening.
Oh, that's okay. This is an explicit podcast, so anything goes on here. If you've listened to some of ours, you'll know. But yeah, no, I was, we were sitting here and we were just talking, and she was like real, and I'm like, okay, I don't know when to, if I can joke with her. I'm trying to be all serious. And then I asked her that question. She says that. I'm just like, it just floored me. I'm just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Aaron's got a new one he tallies now.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now he has another one. Darren wants to know, what is the one thing you would want to be haunted?
Maybe my, I don't know, my putter, so I could play better golf. Maybe the spirit would help me.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Something that'll be helpful there. Okay, so I got to those questions. I'm going to go back to some of the ones that I had. What is the most memorable EVP you have ever gotten?
I don't know. There's a place in Wilton, New Hampshire called Linn Cemetery. And the ghost, the blue lady, the spirit of Mary Ritter Spalding, and I don't know if it was her or not, but I got on a EVP, which is on my SoundCloud podcast page, and it said something like the children are here, or the children come here, or the children are coming here. And Linn Cemetery, there's a lot of children that died of young ages, like between, let's say, 5 and 17. So it has multiple spirits, big time.
Oh wow!
That was just like a year or two ago. So that was recently. That wasn't that long ago.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, kind of going along with that, what is your most memorable event that has occurred while you've been investigating?
I don't know. There was I went to my local public library to do some research, and there was an older gentleman there that I met that I don't know who he was, but he was watching what I was doing, and he goes, "Well, what are you doing?" And I told him, I said, "I'm a paranormal investigator. I'm just looking at some videos, maybe doing a little bit of editing." And he just said, "Well, that's kind of neat that you do that, but I just don't believe in that stuff." And I go, "Well, let me show you a video." And I showed it to him.
Yeah.
And the guy got very emotional. He got very emotional, like he was going to cry. And he's like, "I can't believe it. They're real. Oh my God. Yeah, it's real." I was like, I felt bad. I'm like, "Are you all right?" He goes, "I didn't believe before. It's real. It's real." It's like, all right, that's cool.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Could you imagine him sitting through an investigation and he got touched?
Well, what's funny is once in a while I'll do an annual haunted event where people pay to watch me do a paranormal investigation for about 2-3 hours with a psychic medium.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw 3 girls one time leaving, and I just wanted to make sure that they were all right. And I said, "Hey, are you enjoying yourselves at the event? Is there something, what's going on?" And the 3 girls were like, "Well, we skipped school to come here during the day to your event. My friend had her hair pulled. My other friend tugged on her shirt, and I got pushed. We're out if you're all right."
Oh, no.
I was just
like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool to see skeptics real quick become believers all of a sudden.
It is. It is.
And it's like one of those things I always say. I'm not going to try to convert anybody to a believer, but when somebody's had their own personal experience with a spirit, it's something that you'll never forget, and that's when you truly become a believer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that, yeah. All right, let's see here. Okay, so before we start wrapping things up, if you want to give me your information so that way we can post it on our social media, that way people can find your videos, all your EVPs, if they want to listen to your podcast or find out more about when the show might be happening.
Yeah, the best place to do that would be my website. So it's marklinn.net. I probably have like 5 to 10 different channels. Like I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Daily Motion, Vimeo, SoundCloud, Pinterest, Instagram. But the best way to find me would be marklinn.net. And anybody out there, if they ever email me and say, "Hey, I saw your website's pretty cool, but can you send me some more paranormal stuff?" I have plenty of things out there that I can send to you from other channels. But yeah, the best way would be to visit me at marklinn.net.
Okay, perfect. We'll post that on our social media so that we can get that out to everybody. I have another sneeze coming on. I'm trying to hold it in.
Always.
It never fails. It's either that or hiccuping. I don't know why, but it just happens.
Drink water, it'll go away.
I didn't bring any. I had a couple glasses of wine before I came over.
That's why. That's it.
I always have to have my wine. It's Thursday. Okay, I have to have a glass of wine, and then I do the podcast. It's like a ritual. All right, let's see here. So, I'm gonna give quick shout outs to everybody here before we start wrapping things up. You got everybody written down?
Yeah, right there.
Perfect. Hey, I didn't see some of the. I'm sorry, I missed some of you in chat tonight. I didn't see you pop in. Okay, we had Kim, we had myself, we had Mama Deb, we had Shay, we had Matt, and we had Darren. Thank you to those that were in chat and participating. We appreciate you. Thank you to everybody who was not in chat but listening.
I have Beholder was
listening.
Yep,
I see I have Beholder up there. I know you weren't in chat, but thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you that were listening tonight. We thank Mark for being on tonight. Very, very awesome information. Can't wait to see what happens with your show. So you'll need to keep us posted. That way we can share the information too to get your information out there and kind of get everybody to watch and everything for you. Let's see, we had some.
Yeah, I can always. If the thing with the show happens at all, I can always do a PSA for you guys. Go, "This is paranormal investigator Mark Linn from my haunted adventures, and I only listen to Paranormal Buzz Radio."
Woo! Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
that would work.
Or and we can even have you back on the show too. So like you say, hey, I'm gonna be starting a show, or if you're not gonna be, but you're gonna like premiere like your own type of show on YouTube or whatever. Let us know so we can have you back on so we can help you promote it.
Yeah, if the thing with the television doesn't work out, I'd love to do something on Amazon Prime Video, more of a professional production. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, we'd love to help you promote that too. So you just need to drop us a line and let us know. And like I said, thank you everybody for listening and joining us tonight. Let's see here. Next week we have our guest. We have Keith Blanchard. He is the author of The Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. So that's going to be another awesome one to tune into. So we'll see you guys next Thursday, 8/7 Central. And thank you, Mark, once again for joining us tonight. is awesome. And I hope everyone stays warm, because I don't know about there. I think you guys got a lot of snow at one point, didn't you? I know Shay did in her area.
Yeah, a week or two ago, we got about 1 to 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
They've got more coming.
Yeah, well,
we're finally warming up.
We're finally warming up, because we actually at work, we had drips coming through our ceiling at work. I had to call the... Yeah, I had to call them and be like, hey, you need to come fix our roof.
I always try to say to people out here, don't worry about it. It should be good by April 1st, unless we have a snowstorm.
Yeah. April Fools!
This weekend, we're supposed to be in the 40s.
Oh, yay. Heat wave. Bring out the shorts.
Tuesday, we were at 60 below wind chill.
Yeah. So, yikes.
Yeah, we're like lows in the teens, highs in the 20s at the moment.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys again, everybody, and we will hear from you guys next week.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for listening to REP Paranormal and Friends. Be sure to check out Kim and Allison on Facebook at REP Paranormal Busters.